Welcome to the QB Chronicles, an SMU football podcast with Garrett Gilbert and Kyle Padron. Join former SMU quarterbacks Garrett and Kyle as they break down each week's game, offering insights from their own experiences on the field. In addition to game analysis, we'll also bring you special episodes featuring interviews with past and present SMU players, sharing their stories and perspectives. Whether you're a diehard Mustang fan or just love football, this podcast is your go-to source for all things SMU football. Pony up!
Welcome back to another edition of the QB Chronicles presented by the 1911 Group. Shout out to Mitch and Lindsey Brown. Joined by my co-host. Well, first off, I'm Kyle Padron, played at SMU 09 to through the 11 season, but joined by the single game passing yards leader, quarterback, and one of my dear friends, Garrett Gilbert.
Thanks, Kyle. I appreciate that, man. It's good to see
538 yards, man. That's a hell of a night for GG back then.
We had to throw it a lot that day against Temple.
Did we win?
It was we won. We did win.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we pulled away late. Nice little comeback and beat them 59-49. So
love that.
Yeah,
that's
I remember the clincher. I'll give Derek Thompson a little shout out. I remember the clincher. June. We had it was 4 minute. We were in 4 minute, and June asked me what I wanted to do, and he, I don't remember what I said, but he said, let's go win it right here. And I threw a 9. I threw a X and Z 9 to Derek Thompson down the left sideline. And he made an unbelievable catch over his outside shoulder to clinch the game. So shout out to Bird, man.
Yeah, shout out to Bird. June was always so great about that. He asked me on that same question several times. Hey, what do you like here? A lot of times it was X and Z 9 or divide special or true switch, whatever, any of the deep shots, I felt like we could win on that side. But June was always great about asking that.
Agreed.
Many moons ago, we were a far cry from where we were back then. Our Mustangs went up to Louisville on the road, took down a ranked Louisville, number 22 in the country, came out victors in the ACC road opener, 34-27. And man, we might have a squad on our hands here. It's certainly getting exciting, and back in the top 25 as of today in the AP poll, we're ranked number 25. A lot of great things and a lot of buzz around the program, like we've touched on for the last several weeks, but I think on a more national stage now.
Yeah, a Louisville team, by the way, that just went toe-to-toe with Notre Dame the week prior. So, let's not take this victory lightly. I mean, certainly it's just a stepping stone in the bigger picture and the bigger goal that, a lot of people have set out to, and especially our team has set out to achieve this year. But a very exciting Saturday for the SMU Mustangs, followed by an exciting Sunday back into the top 25. I was kind of perusing some advanced metrics, some advanced rankings. We're even higher in some of those. They're even more friendly to the Mustangs, into the top 20. I think ESPN FPI has us at 18. The S&P rankings aren't out yet, but all that to say, this team is moving in the right direction.
Yeah, BYU's up at 14, and I mean, we arguably, and
really
from our bias, that was a game that we gave to BYU.
This isn't a BYU podcast. This is an SMU podcast.
Exactly. I'm still going to watch them. As they go. But number 14 team in the country lost by 3 points, and realistically, that was a game that we should have won. And so we'll move forward, but would love to hear your breakdown from the game. Obviously, we were not present, being on the road. Would love to attend a road game at some point this year. This weekend was not one of those weekends. But would love to hear your takeaways from the game and what you're able to see on ESPN.
Yeah, I thought it was. I missed the first 2 plays, so I I was at a 5U soccer game up until about 11:15, and we were standing in line for snow cones during kickoff in the first couple plays. So pulled it up on the way home and watched the rest of the way. And I just thought it was a really well played game all the way around. There wasn't a ton of mistakes on either side. Both teams, I'll just shout out the SMU social media team. I was just watching. I didn't get to finish it yet, but a mini movie, the SMU Louisville mini movie that SMU SMU's socials posted, and whoever was giving the post-game speech, I should probably know this, or the pregame speech the night before the game was talking about the rumble in the jungle and how both teams were going to get punches in. And I thought that was certainly the case, yesterday. It was back and forth all day. We go into halftime up 24-13. Louisville turns around, goes right down the field and scores, kind of back and forth throughout the second half. And then they tie it up and we go take the lead. It was just a well-played football game. And I think at the very top of that well-played football game was Kevin Jennings. He played outstanding. He was extremely sharp. I thought, especially in the first half. I don't think there was a play he missed in the first half. We'll get to me being a cynic later on in the show, but boy, he was really sharp. I thought that was as good of a game, as he's played so far against the best team that we've played so far. So really well done. Really, really nice job by him, controlling the offense, making the right play, scrambling when necessary, but not letting the game come to him. I mean, I thought a great example of that, if you'll remember, was wish I had the down and distance in my mind. He scrambled out to the right. We were going from right to left on the TV. He scrambled out to the right, kind of stopped.
Yeah.
You see Lamar Jackson do this a lot on TV. Lamar looks behind him and kind of feels how much space he has. And Kevin did that. He looked out behind him, and then he gets his eyes back down the field, and he becomes a passer again right behind the line of scrimmage. Nobody's there, takes off and goes and picks up a first down. I just thought that was like an outstanding play, awareness-wise, just all over. I mean, that's something I certainly couldn't have dreamed of doing as a quarterback. I mean, number one, not fast enough. And so that was to me, that was the game in one play, was just his ability to kind of slow everything down in the midst of all that chaos and then make the right play and go pick up 10 or 11 yards there.
Yeah, no, the command he showed on Saturday was impressive. And that was one of the best quarterback performances from an SMU quarterback that I remember, at least in my recent memory. We've obviously had some great players in the last several years, but that was one of the best performances that I've had the chance to watch and take in. And Kevin played incredible game.
Lewis Riddick was very complimentary of his performance on TV.
That.
I thought, he was, and obviously a guy who has been an NFL executive. I mean, he didn't have enough good things to say about Kevin's.
He tweeted it out probably an hour or two ago. He's like, "Hey, watch this. Remember this name." He's obviously very high on Kevin, and hopefully as Kevin continues to get more reps, we keep seeing these flashes and these bright spots continue to come out in his game. But he's certainly playing at a high level and continues to improve each week. But stat line, 21 of 27, 281. Ironically, no touchdowns because he goes out for one play and Preston Stone comes in 1 for 1, 10 yards, 1 touchdown to Keyshawn Smith. And shout out to Preston Stone, just for you and I both know how hard it is to be on the sideline. It's very easy to not be locked into a game, to come in and if you have 1 or 2 snaps in the game, to just kind of either hand the ball off and not be attentive. And I thought the way that Preston came in, you could tell there was confidence with him running on the field. Nobody blinked in the huddle. And he comes in and delivers a dime, and Keyshawn comes down with it in the end zone.
Yeah. A quick aside there. Not to, steal the spotlight here, but when I went into the national championship, as you'll remember, Kyle, a couple plays in, I couldn't find my helmet. So we had to burn a timeout real early in the game there because my helmet, much like Waterbug and Booby Miles, was somewhere behind the bench and I couldn't find it. I was wearing a baseball cap. I thought I was cool, just hanging out, watching Colt go win us the national title. And he goes down and I can't find my helmet. So that's just one part of what Preston had. I mean, it's, most likely he's wearing his helmet because that's what you should do as the backup, is just have your helmet on and ready to go. But to go in there and be ready to make that play, I mean, number one, I think it shows a lot of confidence. The coaches still have in him, obviously. And then number two, for him to go in and execute that play was I thought was really cool. I was happy for him in that moment because certainly, we're all team guys. We want to see the team win, but we're all competitors too. And all of us as quarterbacks, as players, we want to be on the field. And so I can't imagine that the last few weeks have probably been very easy for him. So for him to step in there when his team needed him, I thought that was really cool. And then for Coach Lashley to trust him and make that call for him to go throw a touchdown. And Keyshawn made a great catch. That was really cool to see that happen. And obviously glad Kevin's okay. Kind of took a glancing blow there on that big run, but seemed to be okay. And again, just a lot of credit to Preston for coming in and being ready.
Yeah, in that 3-minute period, I got about 40 text messages like, "Oh gosh, what's going on? Where's Kevin?" But obviously Preston steps in, delivers a dime. We'll call that one Dilfer's dime. We've got a Padron shot of the game later on, but Preston gets the Dilfer's dime this week.
Love that.
There
we go.
We'll see if we can get a couple shout outs, but
just kind of, we'll just dole out credit all over the place.
I didn't get to finish Kevin's stat line because it's so long and incredible. We mentioned the 21 of 27, 281, but he also had 10 carries for 113 yards on the ground with a 59-yard touchdown run, which reminds me of my co-host here. 2012, GG takes 175 yards on an empty draw, similar concept. Talk to us about what Lashley saw. Maybe, they understand what they're going to get on a coverage standpoint. Why call this play in this situation?
Well, as a lot of times in those situations, what was it, 3rd and 6?
Yep. Yeah, 3rd and medium.
Okay, so, you get typically defenses are not worried about the run in that situation, especially in an empty backfield. So they may have had a check. That may have been the call out of the huddle. They were going to say, hey, we're going to heat Kevin up and play man and see what happens. And if and when that happens, even if you're rushing 6, you block down and do things properly. There's nobody at the second level. And that's exactly what happened for Kevin. In my case, Tulsa was playing 2-man, and both safeties turned to look at our great receivers we had, and nobody saw me until I was past the 50, and I still almost got caught. But Kevin did not run that risk of almost getting caught. No. He ran away from everybody on the defense, actually, and that was a very, very well-timed and then also well-executed call. You can have that call, but if you don't wall off one entire side of the defense as they're running their stunts and games trying to pass rush, things can get mucked up and you get tripped up and don't gain anything. The offensive line did a great job walling off the entire side of the defense, and Kevin was able to just kind of split find the gap in the Red Sea and take off.
Yeah, 100%. And the offensive line, you touched on it briefly there, but, again, we were critical of them early on this season, but, the last several weeks, really starting with TCU after the bye week, I think the offensive line's played well. Kevin's created some plays outside the pocket when it has broken down. But I think they're starting to become a rhythm on the offensive side of the ball that we're seeing, 450 plus yards of offense the last few weeks, putting up 40 some odd points, 34 this week. I think the offense is hitting its stride. I know we mentioned that maybe last week as well, but excited to see where this goes as Kevin continues to develop. The offensive line continues to kind of build a rapport and playing together as a unit. And the receivers are making some big plays now too. Saw RJ with a, great one-handed catch over the middle.
That was awesome.
Handful of
kind of the fake screen, the fake throwback, and then RJ's up the middle, and boy, he made an outstanding catch on that one.
I mean, it wasn't even questionable. It wasn't a bobble. It was just plucked out of the air. No. Big old left paw there. And
South Lake's finest.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a shout out every week if I can. I might be wearing my letter jacket next week.
As we should. He's a player.
But yeah, and then, moving over to the defensive side of the ball, I think the expectations and what we've seen the last several weeks, they've been playing lights out. We actually, they gave up some big plays, some chunk plays, a lot of yards this week. But you're still seeing, they make huge plays in critical situations. And I know we gave up, I don't have the numbers in front of me right now. I didn't pull them back up, but I think it was 460 yards for Louisville.
Yes.
And gave up some chunk plays. I mean, Tyler Shuck played well. Their receivers were fast, big. So probably the best offensive unit we've seen this year. But again, they made these big plays, 4th down stops. One play in particular that stands out to me in my mind was a 3rd and 1 or 2. Kobe Wilson's kind of tracking down the line of scrimmage. He's covering the tight end. He's basically caught in a 2-on-1. If he takes the tight end, Tyler, Shuck's going to run it for a first down. But he plays him in the middle perfectly, and Shuck decides to run, and Kobe, quickly reacts to it, tackles him behind the line of scrimmage.
Great play.
And then that leads to a 4th down
Great
stop.
Play.
Just stuff like that where they're making these critical plays. I know the secondary has some things that they need to clean up, a couple missed time jumps, and stuff like that. But just continue to be impressed by the defense, the way they fly around. And then obviously closing the game, club takeaway. Only one turnover this week. We're becoming accustomed to 3 or 4 a week, but one huge play to close the game out. So club takeaway, pop some bottles as we finish the game this week.
Yeah, I'll start with the positives from my perspective, and you kind of hit it right there. Is bend but don't break.
Yeah.
There were a lot of yards given up, but it felt like every time Louisville kind of got into that green zone area, the high red zone, everything really tightened up, and we did a really nice job holding them to a couple field goals in that situation. And then at the end of the game, got the huge sack and forced the interception late. That was those were the key plays to me, were those third down stops in that high red green zone area. Compare that to what we did against BYU.
Yep.
SMU scored touchdowns on Saturday, and Louisville was held to a couple field goals, and that was the difference in the game, to be honest with you. And so those are big plays. I think if I'm going to be nitpicky, I think. And one more thing I want to touch on positively, the defensive line, I thought, and I just kind of touched on it, their ability to force pressure and kind of push the pocket back as the game went on. They made is it Show?
Tyler Shuck.
I'm not. There you go.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Another Texas Tech transfer.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of Texas Tech transfers out there. They just kind of made him uncomfortable as the game went on. Yep. And of course he made his plays. He certainly made his plays. I thought I was impressed by the way he threw the ball, but just kind of made him uncomfortable when it counted. And, there was a period in that third quarter where I texted a couple of my buddies and I'm like, boy, I hope we can score 56 today, because they were getting in 21 personnel and they were just running it downhill and they were gaining 7 or 8 yards every time. And our defensive line stood up as the game went on. I thought that was a really impressive showing by them. On the negative side, and you kind of touched on this, when we don't force turnovers, teams do get a lot more scoring opportunities, and it goes without saying, but teams do get a lot more scoring opportunities. So we got to find a way to kind of balance those out, because, when we play teams that protect the ball, we got to be able to get stops as well.
Yep.
And Louisville did a nice job protecting the ball, ultimately up until that fourth down play, which of course that was throw it up and something's got to happen. So that was essentially a turnover on downs for all intents and purposes. But we got to find a way to get stops and get off the field on third down against teams that are going to protect football. And of course, those turnovers are going to happen. That's a big part of how we play defense. We're attacking, we get after it. I hope that we force 2 or 3 turnovers every game. But again, finding a way to get critical stops on third down is going to be huge. That big touchdown, the long touchdown to what's the guy's name on the big receiver on Louisville?
I can pull it back.
Ja'Cory Brooks, was a 3rd and 6. I thought we were going to turn around and get the ball right back on a 3rd and 6, and Shuck scrambles out to the right and throws it up, and next thing you know, it's an 87-yard touchdown. So I think we talked about this the first couple of weeks. You win games and there's still things to work on. I think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
So let's we keep pushing forward. The defense, the secondary, they have some questions to answer, certainly, but overall we made plays when we needed to and we got the victory. And I think that was the best part about it.
Yeah. Well said. It's take 24-hour rule in effect. I think we've now passed that on to another bye week, actually, and then we go to Stanford. But, a great win for our guys, and hopefully they get to enjoy it and get ready to lock in and have another great bye week, and then go take on a good Stanford program and travel out west. But who is your player of the game this week?
Player of the game, I think goes without saying, Mr. Kevin Jennings. Yep. Definitely deserves it. He played his ass off. He was fantastic all day long. Made the right play when, like I said, made the right play almost every time.
Yeah. He's been doing that for weeks.
Yeah, no question. So he's my player of the game. And, I think actually, TCU, his first start, wasn't a ton he had to do. We forced 4 turnovers, scored twice. He played good against Florida State, but I really thought this was his coming out party as far as just, this team, Louisville made him make plays and he did it.
Yeah. He's salty.
I think that's Now it's like if you're an opposing defense, where do you go?
Yeah.
What do you do to stop this team? We got Brashard Smith. We got Kevin, rolling, throwing the ball, and also his ability to run the ball and extend plays. Fantastic performance by him.
Yeah, no, I think this is a hard offense to prepare for, for any, team defensive coordinators. I feel bad for. This is a hard offense to prepare for going forward. We're seeing a lot more, pre-snap. You're seeing a lot of formation shift. You're seeing a lot more motion. And then you're seeing some misdirection and, some trick plays. Tried another flea flicker this week. But I think preparing for this offense and Kevin adding that additional factor, being able to move and create plays outside the pocket, this is a nightmare scenario for defensive coordinators going forward.
I think it's safe to say we made the right decision. I think both guys have proven to be great leaders for this team, but I think this team has made the right decision. I think for this team, SMU made the right decision, and let's keep the train rolling.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I do think that Kevin's obviously playing incredibly well, and I hope Preston continues to stay locked in. We saw Kevin go down briefly for a play. Heaven forbid that happens again, but we've got two great solutions. But Kevin's this is his team going forward, and he's earned that right just based on the field and what he's done the last few weeks, and certainly affirms the coaching staff's decision to give Kevin a shot and give him the reins.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Was there a bet, something I need to settle up?
I actually have a little bit of tequila right here because I think that we had a Padron shot of the game to be taken.
Yeah, I will
after a victory over the Cardinals. Do you need to step away for a moment?
No.
Oh, good.
I pulled it out.
All right, are you ready?
It is chilled.
You ready to just go ahead and take it?
I think so. I think we just knock it out, and then I can share the Padron shot after. But I think we'll pay my bet happily, going on the road in conference, knocking off a ranked team.
I got roped into this too.
Yeah, I like it. I appreciate it. Never let your team struggle. No drinking alone. Cheers, my friend.
Yep.
Padron shot of the game. We'll do another one verbally this time. There was a play. We talked about it last week, actually. Responding in the third quarter, specifically the first 5 or 6 minutes of the third quarter, to open. You okay there, bud?
Yeah, I can't do tequila anymore.
That's all right. We'll do water next week.
No, we got it. We owe it to them. We owe it to everybody.
Yeah. Well,
to do the right thing. A little bit
of a sore throat. Hopefully it's allergies, but maybe the tequila will kill the bacteria, whatever's back there. But we mentioned last week, responding in the second half, opening the third quarter, the first 5 or 6 minutes or so, always important, critical. Louisville actually goes down in a great touchdown drive to open the half and get it back to a 24-21 possession game. And then the Padron shot of the game comes in. Kevin opens up the next drive. We have a 33-yard strike to Jake Bailey streaking down the sideline. We were watching on TV, so forgive me, don't know the actual name of the route. What, offensively Rhett and the staff will call it, looked like a wheel route potentially. But Jake Bailey streaking down the sideline. Kevin throws a fantastic ball. And again, the stripes on his helmet, kind of watch him move in the game. I thought he did a great job all game with that. But on this one specifically, he throws a dart to Jake Bailey for a 33-yard pickup. And, just very bullish on Kevin going forward in our offense, really. They seem to be clicking. I know we mentioned that earlier, but just excited for what these guys continue to evolve into, week to week and adding. It seems like they're giving Kevin more and more opportunity to, kind of expand the offense. But kind of adding some more plays in, formations, getting him
7 guys caught passes.
Yeah, exactly. So I think
you keep doing in a tight ball game. It wasn't like 7 guys caught passes in a blowout because we were throwing it to the backups late in the game. This is 7 guys contributing and 100%. Just
big time plays.
Not to cut you off.
No, you're great. That's well said, complimentary right there. But excited for the guys moving forward. Obviously going to a bye week. Let's talk about some of the games that are on the docket for next week. I want you to share with the audience what you told me prior to starting this, some advice that was shared with you.
I think I saw. I'm apologies if I butchered the wording here, but I'm pretty sure I saw a few tweets or posts on Instagram, something like that said, I wouldn't attend my own wedding if it was on October 12th, 2024. And I think they were referring to the slate of college football games we get to see next week. I'll let Kyle take the reins here, but real fast, can we touch on the chaos from this past weekend? We had the number one team go down to Vanderbilt. We had Miami with a miracle comeback out on the West Coast against conference opponent Cal. We had Texas A&M dominate number 9 Missouri. We had Washington beat the 10th ranked Michigan Wolverines. We had Minnesota beat the 11th ranked USC Trojans. And last but not least, there was one more upset.
Did you mention Tennessee?
We had Arkansas beat Tennessee in a very uncharacteristically low scoring battle for Tennessee's offense. So even in these quote unquote mundane Saturdays, and I'm not going to call our game an upset because I thought we were the better team.
Agreed.
But even in these quote unquote mundane Saturdays, college football still has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
That's the quick rundown. Let's jump ahead to next week. There's some fun action.
It's a heavy week next week. I think there's really two. One that you're incredibly familiar with, Texas OU Red River rivalry. That's always a big one. I know you'll probably be fired up for that one.
See if we get Quinn Ewers back.
Yeah, I think
that'll be a big question for Texas. I think he's supposed to play. Arch has been great in his 2 games. So what does the team look like with Quinn back at the helm? And feels like a down year for Oklahoma, but you just never know in this game.
It's any rivalry game. That's throw all the records out the window. Doesn't matter. I mean, if Vanderbilt can beat Alabama, there's a chance OU could probably beat Texas.
No question.
Another big one that there's really a handful, but Ohio State and Oregon is probably a marquee matchup.
As a conference game, by the way, which is just hysterical.
But probably heavy playoff implications. Could be kind of a sequel coming up later this year as well, as these two teams probably or will have the opportunity to meet again if they continue to win. But a huge matchup there between the number 2 and number 3 ranked teams. Ole Miss, number 9, takes on number 13 LSU. And then one man I'm honestly excited about just to, I don't know that I'm going to stay up to watch this game, but I think we should mention Boise State and Ashton Jonty. That kid.
Man, can we have a quick shout out to that guy? He's unbelievable. He's got 1,000 yards through 5 games, and he's averaging over 10 yards a carry and 13 touchdowns, or maybe it's 16 now. I don't know. It's just he is. I just watched his highlights about a half an hour ago, so I'm kind of fired up about him. That guy is unreal.
It almost seems like he's running in like fast forward and everybody else stuck in like standard.
Yeah.
He's fun to watch.
And he's like, he just bounces off tacklers too. Yeah. He's kind of got it all. Nobody catches him from behind. And he looks like, this feels silly to say, but he looks like Marshawn Lynch running. I mean, it's crazy to watch him run. He's impressive.
Yeah.
And by the way, their Boise State's lone loss is a 3-point loss to Oregon.
Yeah.
Those guys are rolling.
What I'm looking to see, he's a junior, so he probably declares. But if not, hey, Dallas is a great place to be, Ashton. Let's see if you like it or not.
I don't have any comment on the Cowboys' current state of affairs.
I was talking about a Triple D logo for his.
Oh yeah, hey, why don't you transfer over here, buddy?
Just come down to Dallas and check it out. It's a cool place.
It's a good spot to hang out. Yeah. Power conference football. I don't know.
Just saying something to.
We're happy to have you.
Yeah,
we're happy to have you.
Well, shoot, man. Big docket next week. I think we've got a special guest appearance coming up for the bye week, so please stay tuned. But with that, Louisville is closed. The Ponies are 5-1, the number 25 ranked team in the nation, with big things and really everything that we could hope for ahead of us. Charlotte is still in play, the ACC championship. Obviously, a lot of steps, to accomplish and go win some ball games before then. But I think we'll probably be favored in most of the games we have coming up. And we've got a great shot to go compete for a conference title again this year after winning the American last year. So all we could ask for, we're 5-1 and everything still out in front of us.
Everything in front of us. That's exactly right. One game at a time. Got a bye week to reload and get ready to go for
hopefully
the 6 in a row on the home stretch. Hopefully 7 in a row.
Yeah, hopefully get healthy. And Pittsburgh is playing some good football right now. Maybe they continue to win out, and maybe game day shows up in Dallas in November. I think that'd be pretty fun. We should probably start making that push now, and obviously go win some ball games. But maybe we tweet this out to College Game Day. They need to be in Dallas in November.
See what happens. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Well, shoot, man.
Time to go watch the Cowboys game.
We're gonna go turn it on. Carolina's probably already watching it, but go get some work done and watch the Cowboys before we fall asleep.
All right, KP.
Enjoy.
Appreciate it.
Have a good week.
Pony up.
Ponies.